Hey, Fight fans, it's Maddie. We're back with the Peel Back, bitches.
It's time to peel back with Maddie Levine, presented by Fight Bananas.
Welcome back. This is the Peel Back with Maddie Levine, and I'm here with the champ, middleweight karate combat champion, two-time Ross Levine. And it's not every day you get to interview your husband, so this is always exciting. We're kind of winding down from the very exciting night on Saturday night. I still feel like I fought, so I can only imagine how you feel. But join us as we sip our coffees, enjoy the nice Florida weather. We decided to stick around at Deerfield Beach after he fought on Saturday night in Miami. And I'm just gonna ask Ross everything. I'm gonna just see how you feel. We're gonna talk about fight week. We're gonna talk about what it takes to become a champion. And I'm still trying to decompress. I don't know about you, but I'd love to know, as soon as fight night started, let's start there, because I mean, we have so many places that we could start with this journey, but let's start with fight night. What was your head like for knowing that this was going to be your first title defense? Where were you mentally?
Yeah, fight night is always a funny night. I kind of lump it all into the whole day. Like, you wake up in the morning and it's just a roller coaster of emotions. Like, because you never know. Like, some days you feel great, some days you don't, and then you have to just like chug away at the day and see what feels good and just stick with it, you know? So I remember waking up in the morning and feeling awesome. Like, I had such a good weight cut, easy rehydration. I actually wasn't putting on as much weight as I anticipated. So, you know, even that like was playing with my mind a little bit, but I woke up, I felt great. We really didn't have any obligations. We went and got some breakfast, which was quite the craziness in itself. There was like police where we wanted to go. We had to go somewhere else.
Yeah, so back up, because people don't know what happened that day. So that morning we're trying to figure out where to go to breakfast, right?
Crazy.
And I forget how we landed on where we wanted to go.
It was just a place that was close by that looked like it had a good like sit down menu where we could pick at some different things. You know, I was only eating a couple things. I actually had my breakfast in the room on my little stovetop.
Yeah.
And I was just going to go out and we were going to have team breakfast and just kind of kick it. You know, weather was beautiful.
Yeah.
So we select this route. Maddie selects this restaurant.
Of course, it's my fault, right?
Maddie selected this restaurant.
So it's me and Ross. It's our striking coach, Jake Manini. It's our head coach, Andrew Cornell. Nutritionist, Trisha Cornell. Our
Dylan Nadler,
Mindlock. Dylan Nadler was there. So it's Team Turbo. We're trying to figure out where to eat breakfast. And we land on this place. We pull up. There's cops everywhere. And we're like, okay, this is a little concerning.
A little weird.
And so we get out. We're walking over to the restaurant. Cops are just staring at us. Like, they're not really saying anything. We go to open the door, and this woman comes out, and she's like, no, 10 minute. And I'm like, okay. Like, so we back away, and then we realize that, like, they're not even open. So we're just like, okay, we're going to step away. As we start leaving, the cops, like, swarm this place, right?
Yeah, they pulled somebody out in handcuffs. So, like, when we pulled up, what didn't make sense is, we found this out as we're like, forget it, we're going to go somewhere else. So we're pulling away from this restaurant, and this guy's getting walked out of the restaurant in handcuffs. And we're like, why did the cops that were outside not tell us, like, hey, by the way, there's something going on in there? Yeah,
like, yeah, you might not want to have breakfast there. We're about to arrest somebody. So we move on. We go down the block, whatever.
We found this like super bougie place, but it was so good.
Yeah.
Well, it looked good. I was having just sourdough bread, which was great. But
it was good. But talk about an eventful morning for fight camp.
So that was funny.
So you touched upon how easy it was for your weight cut this time. Let's tell the people why it was so easy this time.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, when my opponent that I just fought last in October, I was live at the event. they basically made that matchup as soon as he had like a great knockout in on like Halloween weekend, and they basically said like, Ross, you got your eyes on a rematch. So I was like, all right, cool. There was an event in December, so I was like, all right, here we go, December, let's do it. He looked clean, healthy, there was no issues. You know, he won by knockout, so he was good, no suspension. So we anticipated December, and then apparently he had a knee injury, so they said no to that. But I wanted to still get on that card. I thought about moving to 205. So from October, I had been dialed in, ready to go. You know, the only day off I had was Thanksgiving, and that was it. So I was ready to rock. And then December card didn't work out. So they pushed it to, they said, early Q1. So we thought maybe January, February. Then they said February 25th, and we were ready for that. And then they pushed it back to April 1st. And it was like, at that point, I was so dialed in and so ready to go. I mean, it was almost 6 months of training camp. So, you know, by the time I got to fight week, I was almost on weight. And it was just because naturally my metabolism was revved up. I was ready to go. I was eating. We never really had to change my calories. It was so smooth.
I mean, just the amount of food that you were eating for fight week, I've never seen in my life before.
Yeah, I was not hungry.
Yeah,
which was nice.
I mean, that's certainly a pro to 6 months of camp. But for pros and cons of like having a camp that long, mentally and physically, what would you say? Just
mentally. You know, mentally it's tough because you want to, you know, your mind will play a million tricks on you throughout that process of like, you have all this time, just take a week off. And it's like, I don't want to, you know, my body sometimes wanted to take a week off, but I knew if I did, I'm just setting myself back 3 weeks, you know? So I think mentally it was just exhausting knowing that so many different things could happen in this big time span. But, you know, you just got to bank on your preparation and just stay focused and disciplined and move on from there. And it paid off. I mean, obviously the results speak for themselves. It was, I think it was probably my best performance.
And I've never heard you say that before. I've never heard you feel so at peace with your performance. But, you know, as your wife, watching those 6 months unfold and just wanting a goddamn date night, it's hard. Yeah. It was hard to watch. Yeah. And I think this is for the girlies or the men that are dating a fighter or married to a fighter, and we realize the sacrifice that goes into it. You know, they're in there doing the damn thing, doing the diet, but I think it's safe to say that the significant other has to take a lot as well. Yeah. We have to be there for them. We have to care for them. We have to be okay with the fact that date nights aren't going to happen every Friday night. That, you know, that the marriage or that the relationship has to kind of be one-sided for a little while. Yeah. And
it's hard too because in the past I never really had a problem being social through my fight camps. Yeah. But this camp was just so long and drawn out. Like the thought of going out and being around people, it wasn't in me this fight camp until like the very end. And to be honest, I was forcing it a little bit because I felt so bad. You know, but yeah, it's hard to even be social because what do you do when you go out with your friends? People want to drink, they want to eat, they want to do different things, and it's like I don't have energy because I'm training so much during the week, and obviously I can't eat, so I've got to prep my meals. I mean, even going to all the fight nights leading up to my my event, I mean, the 3 weeks prior, we were coaching, we were supporting teammates, supporting people in Turbo Sports Performance, you know, watching Combat Zone, meeting Dana White, Dean Thomas, Matt Serra. It was like we had all these obligations, and it was like, oh, it was so draining on me, but I had to just kind of suck it up and do it. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it was more mentally exhausting than physically. Physically, I felt great. You know, I was just making leaps and bounds in my, you know, my performance. Yeah. You know, every single week we were getting better. It was great.
I just love seeing the face that people make when you tell them, like, yeah, I've been dialed in for the past 6 months. Yeah. People's faces drop, their jaws drop. It's crazy, and because a typical fight camp, an ideal fight camp for you said is 12 weeks.
12 weeks, but most people don't get that. I mean, most people don't. As a champion, I probably get a little bit more leeway because I already know who the next person in line is. But a lot of fighters, especially if you're new in the game in a big organization, they're calling you short notice. You know, maybe if you're lucky, you get 6 weeks.
So what I was leaning towards was this champion mindset, right? It's people are shocked to hear that you were dialed in for 6 months, but I think it's more than 6 months. I think your champion mindset, never really fades. And I think it's an attest to the people that you have surrounded yourself with. I think the biggest compliment that I continued to hear that was given to you was how tight-knit our team is and how integral everyone's part is for your success. So just like, talk to me how you were able to form such a tight-knit group and create Team Turbo, because there's so many parts in it that people may not realize.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is I got to thank my parents. You know, genetics, I've been
Shout
blessed.
out to Mom and Dad!
Yeah, I mean, genetically, my parents were always really good judges of character, and I think I've just absorbed that from them. And being around my parents, you know, my dad was a blue-collar worker. You know, my mom works with a lot of people on a regular basis, talking to people. So, you know, I just understand, I kind of see through the BS with people really quick, and you learn to recognize, like, who's actually there for you and who just wants to be attached to the name. So, you know, and of course, like anyone else, I've been burned in the past by people that I thought were my friends that aren't, you know, or were just there for a good time or whatever it might be. So, you know, over the years, I'm 35, I've figured out who the people are and what are the signs to look for of, like, who really cares about me? You know, who wants to be there for me? Win, lose, or draw, I'm still the priority, you know, not just attached to this bad boy. So, yeah, it started when I first moved to Rhode Island. I mean, I bounced around until I found, you know, Team Pride and Andrew Cornell, and it wasn't, what got me hooked on that team was not the training. I mean, the training's great, but you can get good training anywhere. And there's a lot of great gyms in the Northeast, but I fell in love with the very first class I took, the mat chat. You know, at the end of the class, Coach Andrew Cornell, he usually has a, you know, some motivational talk that we do with the team and just get you fired up. And he has this way about him where when you're going through something, somehow the universe brings that mat chat to be like lasered in on you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss this. Because I used to have that all the time as a little kid in martial arts, or when I was teaching martial arts, that was me giving all of that advice to other people. And I was finally on the receiving end. I was like, this is what I need. I need to be a student again. So Coach Andrew and I clicked right away. Let's talk about Jake Manini. So Jake, I was introduced to really through you and through Pride Martial Arts. As an amateur, we competed against each other a lot.
I was fighting all of his girls.
Yeah, I mean, our team, Pride Martial Arts and Hard Knocks Boston, Hard Knocks Muay Thai, competed against each other like crazy on the amateur ranks, even in the pro ranks. You know, Doug Holland and Steve Walker and stuff fought a whole bunch. So, you know, it was, we always joke that Jake has cornered against me more than he's been in my corner,
yeah,
which is cool. But yeah, over the course of time, we just became really good friends, and I love his style. I love the way he teaches. We're just good people, you know. So
and it's not, you're not always going to get lucky enough where one coach loves the other coach, but Jake and Andrew have such a great chemistry
bond,
that it just worked. And then you have Trisha Cornell, Andrew's wife, our nutritionist.
Keeps it so simple. I mean, it's all in the family, right? So, you know, we have all of my coaches and, you know, my nutritionist, everyone's on the same page. So, you know, we just have a very cohesive team. And then even the people that we branch out a little bit, obviously Dylan with Mind Lock became an integral part of my training camp and now part of my team. But, you know, you guys hear me give credit all the time to my home, TCK, Jotty Tension's Championship Karate. That's where I grew up, you know, TCK, Modern Martial Arts. That's the place in the Bronx. So, you know, I always get back down with him, and he's been such a big influence in my career, in my life, period. And then Bazooka Joe Valtellini, I go up there, and I've been around Coach Randy Stanky, and I'm out in Arizona. So, you know, I just have such a good team that literally, they just care so much about me. And I think the key is these guys are all good martial artists. Like, we all came up as martial artists. We're not just successful fighters that are trying to push on everybody else. It's all about, like, those values. For
a fighter who is looking to find a tight-knit community, or for a fighter that's looking to become a champion, what would you say are maybe the top 3 elements that are a must to have a successful team.
Yeah, and to tie in the last part of the team, and this will answer the next question as well, is my management, right? Tyson Chartier is somebody that I met through just kind of being around each other, being around Calvin and Rob, Mike Rodriguez, like other guys that he manages from the UFC. We would all be training together. And when I got into Glory, it was like, okay, I think I need a manager now to start handling like these bigger time promotions. And when Tyson met me, you know, Tyson doesn't take and manage any fighter, you know, because he doesn't care about getting the money back from his fighters. He cares about their success and wants them to be successful. And if they're successful, eventually that trickles back down to him. So that's the way I like to do business, you know. But Tyson kind of interviewed me and was like, hey, you need 3 things if you're going to be successful as a prize fighter. You need to have drive and work ethic. He was like, I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. You have to have a good team, and then you have to have a big support system, you know, and a strong support system. So, you know, it was like, for me, check, check, check. Obviously, I want it. You know, I work my behind off for it. 2, I got the team. Everyone's all in. And then my support system, you know, the people who are around me that want it for me just as much as I want it for myself. So, you know, those are the 3 big things, and like that always stuck with me with Tyson. You know, so yeah, that's what it comes down to. Those are super, super important.
Let's get back to fight week. That's stressful as fuck for me. I get so stressed out on fight week. And I feel so bad because I don't want to radiate that energy around you. And I try so hard to keep it in check. And I think, you know, there's a piece of me that thinks I made myself sick. Because I got to Miami and I was not well. I was very sick. And I was trying to keep it under wraps, keep it under control. But I think just me being so stressed out and anxious and like worried for you, I made myself sick. And luckily, you know, it went away and we were able to enjoy the fight week and the fight night and all that stuff. But for like, it is just so incredible how, well, first of all, how much I love you and how much passion I have for you and this sport, and like, wow, I got so stressed out. But fight week was pretty funny. What was your favorite part about fight week? Obviously, besides the fight night, like, were there any like moments, maybe funny moments or, you know, fun moments that happened that you can recall? You
know, well, so I've been watching The Sopranos. And my first time going through The Sopranos, I know I'm going to get a ton of comments on that. I know, I haven't seen it. I finally watched it. And my coach, Jake, is like he's the super Italian of the team. You know, I know you're Italian. Jake's
mega Italian.
He's the real Italian. So, you know, he's like a Sopranos super freak. And we always talk about the episodes like during my training sessions. And I was like, all right, I'm going to save like 4 episodes for fight week. And he's like, I just want to watch The Sopranos. So I think a funny part was like finally watching the finale, and like closing the book on The Sopranos and getting a chance to like talk about all that. That was funny.
The finale of Sopranos is very polarizing. Did you like it or not like it?
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. No spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen it yet, then you deserve to be spoiled. But
I did like it. I thought it was really clever. The whole freaking series was so clever. But anyway, other fun moments. Yeah, you know, I think it was just, I love fight week because I'm generally pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like a super nervous guy. Like, listen, all the hard work's done. It's more stressful that I just got to wait. You finally get there. You see your opponent. We went to South Beach. We did a face-off, which was really cool.
Yeah, the face-off was really cool.
Yeah, we did some media stuff. Like, all of that was great. Ton of fun.
What about working out with Boss?
Oh, God. Boss tried to kill me. Boss tried to kill me.
So every fight week, Karate Combat does a really good job of doing these fun videos with the, what's the official title?
The Seasoned Sensei.
The Seasoned Sensei.
Yeah.
And Boss Rutan was in charge of basically doing a really cool video with Ross, but Boss got really excited.
Well, here's the issue, right? So we landed on Tuesday morning, right around noon. We were initially supposed to do it at like 7 p.m. that night. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I get off the plane, we're gonna get to the hotel, get settled, I'm gonna go grocery shopping, I'm gonna eat, get my body back on track, I'm gonna rest a little bit, and then I can rip it with Boss and we'll have a good time. I also wanted to work out with my coach. So I could like get a feel for, you know, our rhythm and what feels good, what doesn't, whatever. I land, we get to the hotel. I haven't even gone up to my room yet. And they're like, hey, boss is in a little early. Do you guys want to do it a little sooner? And we're like, what time? They're like 2:30. It's like, okay, I basically have enough time to go eat my like pre-packed lunch and rest for like 20 minutes and then go. I was like, yeah, let me just get out of the way. Because in the past, they're like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, and then we do a couple cool things and that's that. So in my mind, I was gonna do that, you know, 15 minutes with boss and then hang out for a little bit and then do my workout with Coach Jake and then I'd be good for the day. Come to find out, we start working out, boss is having me rip the pads, and like 45 minutes later, I'm like ready to throw up. Like I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm a little jet lagged, like.
You're cutting weight?
Yeah. And like there was a time, and it's so funny because like the video that they posted is obviously just of me and boss, you know, going crazy on the mitts and stuff and talking. But there was a time when I looked at Coach Jake sitting in the corner and I'm like, dude, I'm done. If he says one more thing, and in my mind, because you know he got carried away, boss got carried away.
Yeah.
We were flowing.
Yeah, you're flowing. You're having a good time. It's
And it was like we would do a combination, and then he's like, and now we can change levels, and now we can add kicks, and now you can switch stances. And I'm like, if he comes up with one more layer, I'm just gonna start taking my gloves off.
Yeah.
Like someone needs to give this guy the cue that I'm dying over here. And both of us were. When I tell you we were dripping.
Yeah.
We were dripping. Like I had to be super careful because the mats were so slippery because we were both just in a puddle. And I'm like, I can't get hurt right now. You know,
Yeah.
It's like so crazy. But thankfully, 45 minutes later, we called it a wrap. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done for the day. I don't need to work out anymore. And I think I lost like 4 pounds that day.
Yeah, he helped you
I'm not
cut
kidding.
weight.
Yeah, boss helped me cut weight.
So Karate Combat shared a really cool moment from that day where you hit that combo to the body, to the head, which ended up being the finishing combination on Igor de Castañeda. And that's just one of those really cool moments where it shows how easily you apply what you learn. But if we're being honest, like, was boss in the back of your mind with that, or was that something that just like it just flowed? It
just flowed. It was cool that we went over like the body, you know, head, body, head, body, things like that. But like the manipulation of that finishing sequence is something that we've been practicing a lot. We knew we wanted to go to his body pretty early. When I had the opportunity and his power started to come down in the 3rd round, I knew I could walk him down. And one of the things that we worked on was a shield cross liver, right? So I shield the right hand, protect my head with my forearm, you know, and as I unload from that, let the right hand go and then find the liver. So we had been training that for, when I tell you 6 months, we've been building this for 6 months, and it came out, and then I knew we wanted to get it back, so my next one was right to the head, and it just landed flush. It was one of the cleanest KOs I've ever had. But yeah, it was just cool how, and you see it so many times with high-level guys. You see it, McGregor, in the warm-up when he knocked out Aldo, he's just going over the pull, right? And there was another incident where you and I, at my Glory debut, we were studying and saw the left high kick coming out, and there's a cool picture of me throwing a left high kick in the ring as a warm-up, and then in the same spot in the ring, I land a left high kick to finish the fight. It's just cool how, like, you know, when preparation meets opportunity, that's luck, right?
But you also do a really good job of manifesting. You are big on manifestation. I've watched you day after day take at least a couple minutes in each day thinking about the fight, playing the fight over in your head. I mean, you know, this might be TMI, but it seems like the shower is your place to really this figure it out. Yeah. You know, I would be like, wait, is he still in the shower? Yeah, okay, he's fighting in the shower. I forgot. Okay. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on manifestation and the importance of it when it comes to winning in the ring?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's one of those things where the more, it's all about comfortability, right? Like, how comfortable can you get in an uncomfortable situation? And the only way to do it is either get in there and cross your fingers and hope you're comfortable, or you can play it up here. It's like watching a movie 15 times, right? To the point where if you watch a movie once, you're blown away, especially like, let's say it's a suspense thriller, like you don't know what's gonna happen, there's a plot twist, oh my God, crazy, and your mind is blown, right? The Departed. Crazy movie, right? You watch it again, you pick up on a couple things. You already know the ending. You've seen it already.
Sixth Sense. That's a great one.
Yeah, there you go. So you start to pick up on little things. You watch it again, you pick up even more things. You watch it, and it's like the more you play that in your mind or play it on a screen, you can start to recite. You look at those movie buffs, and they can tell you every line of every movie. They're saying it as it happens. They're the most annoying people to deal with. I do that with my fights. So I play it how I think it's going to go out, all the different scenarios. I had 6 months to do it, you know, so believe me, I saw that fight a lot, you know, in my mind. And, you know, by the time you get in there, I know what it smells like. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I know what the proper warm-up is supposed to feel like. Like, I've just been there already. I've been there already. So by the time they say enter the pit, it's like ready to go. You know, those nerves, they're there, those little butterflies, but it's not, they're not working against me, they're working for me. You got to rev those engines up and let it go and use that momentum. It's like, okay, I already know what to do. I know the ending. I've seen the ending. Let's make it happen. And that's what it was.
Yeah. It's just so cool to watch. So Ross defended his title last Saturday. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so he's shaking his finger at me about defending because he's always on the offense, okay? He won a title again.
And two. Second title.
For Karate Combat 38?
38
in Miami. And we're going over the fight night. So we're on fight night. Did you get a chance to watch any of the fights? Or are you kind of like away from the screen?
So a few. My good friend Robbie Lavoie, another sport karate mastermind, you know, a guy's amazing, multiple time world champion. He's in Karate Combat now. So he was the second fight of the night. Thankfully, they moved up our shuttle time because we thought we were going to miss it. But we literally arrived at the venue just as Robbie was walking out. So I got to go into the crowd and like I wanted to see my family, see my friends. I had a huge support system there. You know, I sold a lot of tickets for this event. People really wanted to see me fight, so it was cool. So I got to see Robbie fight basically in the crowds as a fan, which was great. Robbie won, which was amazing. He had a really good fight with Damian Villa, which is another friend of mine, so it was cool to watch that fight. And then, you know, I made my rounds, said hi to everybody. We went in the back, and yeah, I didn't watch any other fights. I saw a piece of the Bruno versus Bruno fight, and I saw pieces of James Vick. I saw pieces of Sasha and Adrian Hadjabia. So, you know, it was like I was in between my warm-up.
Right.
There was a monitor in the back, and I was watching some of the stuff I was interested in. But yeah, I didn't watch much.
I'm sure you've seen all the noise about the Bruno versus Bruno fight.
Yeah.
So the Bruno Assis versus Bruno Souza fight was very interesting because it ended up going to a 4th round, and they call it I want to call it the death round, but what is it called? Sudden death round? Is that what they call it?
It's funny because in the fighter meeting, they don't like to call it sudden death. They call it sudden victory. So
okay,
it's like
sudden victory round.
In Karate Combat, just so you guys know, there is no draw. You cannot have a draw. That does not exist in Karate Combat. If there is a close decision, basically on the judges' scorecards, there's like round 1, 2, 3 for regular fights, title fights 4, 5. And then at the bottom, there's a box that says extra round. To my knowledge, it does not have to be scored as a draw to go to the extra round. It can be a split decision. It can be, I think the scores can be whatever you want, but if the judge believes that the fight is close enough where it deserves to go to an extra round, all they got to do is check the box. And if 2 of the 3 judges, just majority of those judges have that extra round clicked, you're going the extra round and the fight is null and void. Whoever wins that round wins the fight, which
all right, so let me interject for a second because I had such a hard time watching that fight go to a 4th round.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Bruno Assis had a tremendous performance. He looked incredible. He was dominating the 1st round. He looked great in the 2nd round. I think he got dropped. He dropped
Souza in the second round.
He ends up getting dropped in the 3rd.
Yeah, he was pretty hurt at the 3rd.
Because the dude put his heart and soul into the first 2 rounds. And I understand that you have to be aware that the fight is going 3 rounds. If you haven't finished them, you have to keep fighting to the bell. And I understand that.
It was tired.
And Bruno Souza, what a chin. Oh my goodness, that dude was taking shots and shots. And he was starting to pick up momentum. And I'm going to give him that. But I did not see a reason for a 4th round whatsoever. Yeah. But you make a good point. that you don't necessarily have to have a split decision to go to that fourth round. I was under the impression that it had to be a split decision, and I just wasn't seeing a split decision at all.
Or a draw, yeah.
But if you take into consideration the fact that Bruno Souza was starting to pick it up, Assis was dwindling, I just was, my heart hurt for him when he didn't win that fight.
Yeah, when you look at it from just round by round, you're like, okay, Assis wins round 1, Assis wins round 2, hurts him. But round 3, Souza comes out and all of a sudden he's a new fighter, he's like recovered, and he hurts him. It's like, from a judging perspective in this scenario, it's like, well, if this fight continues, what happens? Because if you just extrapolate those 3 rounds, it's 2-1, pretty simple, cut and dry. Like if this was in the UFC, you'd probably see Assis win.
Right.
But knowing that there's in the judge's mind, hey, we could do a 4th. If you think the tides are turning, which makes it interesting, and now that we've seen it like this, because this is the first time it was pretty clear, like, we all thought the fight was over, and then it's like, oh my God, one more round. You can never be unprepared.
I don't know how I feel about having the 4th round be its own entity, because
I like it.
I don't, because
but then why have the 4th round?
Because I think it needs to be an overall. I think you need to be able to take that 4th round into consideration with 1, 2, and 3. Because if you have a fighter like Bruno Assis who went out on his shield for the first 2 rounds, of course he's starting to get tired in the 3rd round. Of course he's not going to be...
Well, not of course. That's up to him. But, okay, so let's take this example. So Assis wins 1 and 2. Bruno wins 3. They go a 4th. Bruno wins 4.
Which Bruno?
Souza. So now it's 2-2. It has to be the determining round. And I think that's what's cool, because you gotta, when they say one more round, you gotta be like, hey, listen, now all my eggs are in this basket. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I like it.
Yeah.
I hope I never go to it. I hope I never go to a 6th round for title fights. 6th round for title fights. We've seen it. I don't ever foresee that in my future. My preparation will dictate it. But I'll tell you this, in my camps, like when I'm training, we train for 6 rounds. Like when I get into my hard sparring, we're doing 6 rounds, because I want to know, again, it goes back to manifestation. I want to know that when I'm in there, I'm going the full distance. Yeah. 100% full power the whole time. I was very well prepared to go as many rounds as necessary.
But you went, what, 2.5?
2 1/4.
Yeah, 2 1/4. So you finished him in the third. Finished him in the 3rd round. And this isn't the first time you've seen Igor. What's it like fighting somebody a 2nd time?
Honestly, it didn't play a factor at all. If anything, it was a positive factor, because I had felt his power in the first fight. I know what it felt like to get hit by him. I knew what to expect. When you fight someone for the first time, especially someone like Igor who's got crazy knockout power, you see his highlight reel and it's like right hand after right hand after right hand. It's like, oh my God, if that guy touches me, my head's going to explode. So the first time I fought him, I was a little tentative. I was slower. I didn't want to get touched as much. But the 2nd time, it's like, yeah, he made some changes. I knew he was going to make adjustments. Like he should improve. He's got great coaches. But I wasn't worried about his power, because I knew what it felt like. I knew I could handle it. I knew I could take it. I just had to be careful. You know, so for me, it was just a matter of, I can be patient, because now it's 5 rounds. In a 3-round fight, our first fight, I kind of had to step on the gas a little sooner, because I only had 3 rounds. So I couldn't give a round away just to kind of move and get a feel for it. I had to engage, which is scary. You know, he's a scary guy to fight in a 3-round fight. 5 rounds, I knew I could take my time and draw out all the new stuff, which is really what I did the first 2 rounds, round and a half. So this was almost an easier fight for me mentally, because I knew I could be patient, be intentional. I was just calculating. You listen to the commentary, and Wonderboy nailed it. He was like, I think he's just filing the data away. Collecting information, and then when it was ready to go, boom. Turbo, baby.
Yeah. It was a fun night, for sure. I mean, you know, obviously. But the media was trying to portray kind of like a rivalry against you two. Is there bad blood between Ross and Igor?
No, there was never any bad blood, even after the first fight. You know, did I agree with what he said about the fight being stopped early? No, I don't agree with that.
And you're talking about your first
my initial fight, yeah. So if you hadn't seen our first fight, the title contender fight, I had stopped him with a spinning hook kick against the pit wall, and the referee stepped in and called it a TKO. He sat up a little bit, but in my opinion, he was pretty out of it. In his opinion, he can continue. So, you know, there was from that end, people were saying it might have been controversial. But, you know, it's like, I'm past that already. I was past that 24 hours later. So, you know, I'm not in control of what the referee does. The referee's got a job, and that's what they do, you know, and I trust them. If it were me, it is what it is. So, you know, there was no bad blood, but I didn't like some of the things that he was saying, you know, in the press. He was saying, like, I never stopped anybody. I don't have knockout power. But, like, you know, it's like, that's just clearly someone who needed to kind of pump himself up and get himself going. And listen, whatever you got to do to get in there and do it, do it. Like, that's your own prerogative. That has nothing to do with me. So I have no bad blood. You know, we saw each other after the fight, and, you know, we went into their locker room, gave him a hug. You know, he's going to be a champion one day. I just don't think it's going to be while I'm holding the belt. But I think whether I move up and, you know, move up to 205 or, you know, change pace or retire or anything like that, you know, he'll be there. He's young. He's only got 7 pro fights. That blows my mind. Yeah, and he's that good. You know, he's in there with a world champion, someone who's world class. So, yeah, he's going to be just fine. But, yeah, no bad blood at all.
How'd you feel about having Poetan in the crowd? Alex Pereira was front row and center at Karate Combat, and I'm over there like, oh, what's up? Oh, hey. I can't believe... So, okay. Ross didn't know that Alex Pereira was in the crowd. That was the first thing I said when we got back to the locker room. Someone told me he was there, and he was watching all the fights, and I was like, I can't believe I finished a fight with a left hook, and I didn't know Pereira was there. I mean, that would have been the ultimate opportunity to be like, yo, fist bump. I did that. Yeah. We did that. We did that. We did that together. Because, I mean, you know, I study the heck out of fighters, and, like, I love Izzy. I love Pereira. I love their rivalry. Like, and I fought in Glory. We fought on the same card before. Yeah, I was more upset that I didn't know he was there. I didn't get to introduce myself. You walked out. You walked out for your fight, and obviously I'm looking at you. I'm watching you, and then I glance over. You see this mountain at Pereira, and he is just locked in. Like he wasn't just there as a casual. Like he was really like watching these fights, and I just remember turning to Trisha and being like, oh my God, like, Alex Pereira is watching my husband fight right now. Like, this is cool. Like, this is so cool. Well, the good thing is, Alex is now in the Northeast, you know, training with Glover. He's only about an hour 40 from me. So, you know, after this, you know, obviously he's got a fight coming up, and, you know, hopefully that's as great of a fight as all the others have been with him and Izzy. But I plan on at some point getting down there. We have some students in our at Pride that come from that area that I've trained with Glover before, so I got a little in. I would love to, you know, to mess around on the mats with him and just learn and grow and train. Yeah. What a great experience. Imagine if Pereira finishes Izzy with a left hook this weekend. We'll see, and then we put it all together. But that'd be wild. But yo, Alex, thank you for being there. I'm sorry I didn't know you were there. If you see this, good luck this weekend. We'll be training together. All right, now say it in Portuguese. I don't know. So you are officially a champion again. Two times. What does being a champion mean to you? Comes with a lot of responsibility, that's for sure. It just means I got to stay sharper than ever. You know, we talked about it in like my pre-fight stuff and all the media. It's like there's so many people out there, and you see it all through combat sports, all through prize fighting. People get to a level where they hit the peak of the mountain, and they're like, I did it, and then they lose to someone they're not supposed to lose to on paper, you know, where it doesn't add up. You know, when you're climbing the ranks, your eyes are set on this goal, and you're just trying to chip away at every little person in your way, and nobody matters. Nothing matters until you get to that point. And then you get to that point, and a lot of people take their foot off the gas, and they think, I've made it, I'm the man, I'm good. Their coaches tell them, you're the man, you're the best, you're the champion, you know, and I lead that with my coaches. They back me up. It's like, in my opinion, can I cuss on this? Yes. I ain't shit, you know, just because I have a title belt, I'm not shit, you know, until I get out there and do it again. Because as soon as, you know, we have a 24-hour rule, 24 hours to feel however I want to feel about the fight, you know, win, lose, draw. You got 24 hours to be either super happy, elated, celebrate, or 24 hours to be sad, upset, pissed off, mourning, whatever you got to feel, depressed. And then the media cycle turns. I haven't seen a post. I mean, it's what's today?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. I haven't seen a post about my fight. They're too busy with the UFC. You know, so it's like, this is over. It's time to get better. What can I do next? You know, I'm going to fight again, probably this year. So it's all about, you know, I'm going to recover, let my body heal up a little bit. And then what are the next pieces that we want to add to my game? How do I make the gap that I believe is already so big between me and the rest of the division? How do I make it bigger? How do I make it even like that much harder? I want people to be like, you know what? I'm not even going to be a middleweight in karate combat. It's not worth my time. That's how good I want to get. So that's what's next.
Well, I think you're certainly on your way, hon.
Trying.
Yeah,
Trying.
Definitely. I mean, I just want to say, as your biggest fan and biggest supporter, I'm so proud of you. And just seeing all of that hard work come to fruition. And, God, I just wanted this so badly for you. And you got it. And it was all on you. I know you say you ain't shit, but this was all you, honey. This was all you.
It takes a village, right? You know, it takes not just me and my team, but it takes you too. And you know, I'm just super grateful, and I can say this to public. I say it in private all the time, but I can, you know, it's so important to have someone like you who understands what I'm going through. And like, you got a full-time job, you have responsibilities, you've got chores, you've got family. Like, I'm part of that for you, and for so long and so many times that has to go on hold. And a lot of people's careers get ruined by relationships that don't quite understand, you know. So I'm so lucky and so fortunate that we have this, and that is part of the true reason why I'm able to go out and do stuff like this. So, you know, people who saw me fight have don't you cry on video.
I'm not crying. I'm not crying.
You know, I wanted to make sure that you knew that and the world knew that. So thank you, baby. I love you.
I love you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek into the world of a champion mindset as well. And it was such an amazing experience. Thank you to Karate Combat for always putting on incredible shows. I hope you are proud of your middleweight champion, because I certainly am. And we look forward to getting back in the pit with you. Yeah, listen,
there's 2 more events in Miami. So they're doing 3 events in a row in Miami. This one just happened. There's a May show, there's a June show. So if you miss this one, they're only going to get better. There's going to be the return of a lot of great fighters. I can't name names yet. Stay tuned, karate.com. Follow them on Instagram, on Twitter. Watch all that stuff. Click on the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You're going to see all that stuff. Buy tickets, fly to Miami. I promise you, it's cool online. It's cool online. It's cool when you watch it live, and it's free, which is amazing. Tickets are not that expensive.
It's
the
way
live
better
experience.
in person.
The live experience
better.
is unmatched.
It's
I promise you. So take your time. You know, you're not going to be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars like the UFC. Let's just call it what it is. You know, to buy a ticket to a UFC, to watch a monitor because the cage is in the way. Every seat is a good seat. You'll see right into the pit. May, June, go online, get your tickets. Karate Combat.
All right,
amazing.
already.
And I'm going to fight again this year. And I'm going to be and 3.
God, get this dude a muscle. My gosh. Thank you for joining the Peel Back with Maddie Levine. This has been such a fun episode. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, you are sharing with all your friends so we can get even more fighters on the pod. Thank you, honey.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peel Back with Maddie Levine every Wednesday, brought to you by Fight Bananas.